Oh, there it is.
Okay, we're live. We expand the video. Alright, right now we don't got no viewers, but it's alright, it's okay. So we are. Making sure. Okay. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. I know we're a little bit delayed this morning, so we do apologize for the inconvenience. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but it looks like we do have our live feed going. So welcome. I know we have right now 2 viewers in our live feed, so thank you very much. So just give us here 1 second, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. So I'm gonna pass over the baton here to Miss Yulisa.
Hi, good morning. My name is Yulisa Peña. I'm with the City of FAR. We're working in partnership with the Nueva Luz Foundation under a grant called GUILDS, which stands for Grants to Increase Local Dementia Support. And we partnered up with Nueva Luz to be able to bring support groups for caregivers and individuals who have Alzheimer's or dementia and might need just any extra care and support, and just to be able to show that they're not alone, and that our community is here to be able to help them and with whatever they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Peña.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we thank Miss Peña here. Okay, and then okay, and so here we are this morning. It's Mr. Cardona and Mr. Farella here, as we're here at the City of FAR for our Alzheimer support group, and it's a wonderful opportunity, as Ms. Peña said, for us to be able to provide services to the community.
Good morning, everybody. So I have no experience with Facebook. This is my first time live, so this is new to me, and also for my colleagues. But I want to take this opportunity, and the importance of caregivers in our lives is fundamental, right? So stress is something that every person, no matter what walk of life a person has. Stress is always going to be there. But on top of that, you add being a caregiver plus the stress of everyday life. It just makes everything a little bit more difficult. And the goal of the Alzheimer's support group for caregivers is, provide coping skills, kind of help you have a support system where as a community we could come together and talk about what are some of the challenges that everyone is going through and how has everyone else been able to deal with their challenges. you know the other day I was watching a Alzheimer's support group online, and they were talking about one of the challenges was that one of the loved ones with dementia, they were outside waiting for to get picked up to go to work. So the caregiver was like, "Okay, my loved one is outside. They're getting ready to go to work, but they have been retired for so many years from the school. So what do I do? They don't listen to me." So one of the caregivers said, "You know what? I'm gonna call the Alzheimer's hotline." So they called the Alzheimer's hotline, and they gave them a tip. It's like, "Hey, tell your loved one that today's a holiday and school is closed." So that was something that really helped that person kind of like reflect and say, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back inside." So that was one of the challenges that the caregiver was dealing with at that time. But through the Alzheimer's hotline, they were able to get the support, and a small little tip was able to help them how to manage that specific situation. And sometimes when we encounter that, caregivers encounter that, it might be something new to them, but through the experience of everyone else in a support group, they share what has worked for them and how to care for their loved one with Alzheimer's, right? Or sometimes the person is gets out at night or gets out opens the door. What do I do? That's something that happens frequently. So in a support group, those are some of the things that talk about, right? Like, what are some of the challenges that other people are going through, and how have they been able to deal with it? So that's the goal of the support group. That's our goal, that we want to create this support group and have something local here. I know there's already local support groups, but this one is we're trying to not only for the caregivers but also for children. Sometimes they don't know about Alzheimer's, or why is my grandfather, why is my mom going through it. So those are some of the things that we could talk about in the support group. So we are Wednesdays from 10 to 12, and then also from 5 to 7. So we're not just limited to Wednesdays. So once we start having people come in, let us know what are the best times that works for you, and we'll modify to your schedule. So if you have if there's a community, an organization that has caregivers, just give us the space and we'll go to you. So that's something that we could work with. So that's a little bit. Sorry, I was just ranting. A little bit nervous, but sure, yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mike. So I'll pass it on to Pedro.
All right. So, as promised, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have some fun this morning. What we're going to do right now, and again, we'll introduce everyone. Okay, let's go ahead and introduce everybody else. So, I was jumping the gun, everybody, but that's just because we're very excited to be here. Having everybody join. I know we got already quite a few viewers here, so hey, this is going to be a fun time. So, but before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce the crew, because this is what we're here to do. So, let me introduce here Dr. Norma Villanueva.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm going to be on the sidelines.
All right. And so that was Dr. Norma Villanueva here with us, and then we've got our couple of interns with us as well. So This is great. This is wonderful. So one of the things that we wanted to do this morning here with you guys is an opportunity for us to do a little activity. It's coping skill. Is what we call breathing sticks. So what we do is when we try to think of this, is think of it like this, right? Everybody uses tools, just like somebody who works in construction would use a hammer, right, to build a home. Or let's say an artist who's creating art uses a brush to create such beautiful work, right? We use these tools and these coping skills to allow us to help us along the way, right? A breathing stick is just as powerful as that hammer and this brush. And so the breathing stick that I am speaking of, and I want to show it here to you guys, I'm going to bring it up to you. Let me know if you see this here. This here is a simple little pipe cleaner, right? And as you see, you got about 10 beads with you, all right? So what this does with the breathing sticks, it helps us to regulate our breathing, right? And it's a wonderful little thing that we've had the privilege and the honor to use this little guy in a lot of the events that we've gone through out in the community. It's shown to be very effective and useful when it comes to like children and adults and everyone alike, right? So one of the things that you want to do is when you're first picking out your equipment, what I like to do is I like to pick items that are gonna really be important to me, right? Things that kind of stand out. So in this case, for me, the first thing that I did is when I picked my pipe cleaner, I got here, as you can see, it's a nice little yellow guy, right? Yellow for me is very great. I like it because I'm a very outdoorsy person. So when I'm outside and I see yellow, I usually think of like the flowers. I'm also thinking of maybe like the sunshine, things that are very outdoors. So you see, when you're picking these things, color is going to play a big aspect in it, okay? So that's the color that I'm going here with this morning. Mike, I see that. I am excited to learn along with everyone and later share tips, skills, and knowledge with others who can benefit from this. Well, I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. You know, that's why we're all here together as a community. Oop, I'm sorry. So we're here, and exactly, we're all here to learn, and this is something that's very powerful and it's very fun to do, and you know, it's. So what you're gonna do is we take this little bad boy here, we kind of turn it around, like you see, almost like a J, right? Just like the little alphabet J. And what I like to do is I bring it across like this, right? So I'm gonna see if you can see it, right? It's going across. And then what I do is I twist it just as so. So now you got yourself a little circle, all right? It's enclosed. Now, after I have done that, I'll take the opposite end, and now I have my opening on the top. Now, you're gonna also pick, in this case, 10 beads, all right? I have some here in front of me. I have a vast different amounts of colors. I got like 10 different colors, but the reality is it's really what sticks out to you, because this is your breathing stick, so it's going to be unique to you. In fact, I think we had done an event, and the person's school colors were hawk colors, so they chose a lot of green and orange beads, but it was special to them and they liked it, they enjoyed it. So in this case, when you pick your 10 beads, you're going to want to pick 10 that stick out for you. But then once you get your little 10 beads, you're going to go ahead and start the process, right, of trying to just weaning them through here. So we're going to go all the way towards the bottom here. There we go. While I'm putting my beads in, for those of you that are with me here on the live feed, just like Mike has been asking some questions and saying good morning, please feel free to do the same. We are more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Please put them down there. But we're almost here towards the end. All And so, just like that, I don't know if you can see, I now have my breathing stick and it now has all 10 of my little beads in there, right? So we got to do is we got to go ahead and seal this bad boy up on the other end. Very similar pattern, kind of a little bit of like a J hook right here, all right? And then you're going to overlap it, you're going to twist it. Okay, and so the final result, in this case, the one we created, is your breathing sticks like this. Now, some people, it depends really, and it's gonna, and you'll see right now, mine's a little bit longer. Okay, so that's gonna allow me a little bit more, because what we're gonna do here, there's been different variations. This is the one that works for me. I enjoy this, and I want to share that with you. But what we're gonna do is when you take your breathing stick, you're gonna take your first little bead here, right? I'm not sure if you can see it because she is yellow, just like the pipe cleaner. And what I like to do is, as I'm taking this breathing stick, I'm gonna move it across to the other side. As I'm doing that, I will be breathing in. So I take a deep breath in as I'm going across. Once it's here, I like to trace the pipe cleaner back as I'm exhaling for me. So I usually go in with the bead and then I'm going out. And then we're going to go breathe in. Then we're going to breathe in again. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then breathe in for the last beat. And breathe out. So, as you were able to see with the breathing stick, it allowed me to go at a pace that I was comfortable with, where I could control how fast I wanted to be with breathing in, as well as exhaling the air as I was exhaling. It allowed me to go for 10 counts, and then as I did so, and I was able to do that, if you need to go for longer, you can, because now that you've moved everything to that side, you are then able to, if you need to continue, you can do so by then doing and repeating the process of moving everything back. So it really depends on you for how long you're wanting to continue this exercise. This might be something that you just need to do one round of going that way. Maybe you need to go that way and back, or maybe it's gonna, It's going to be there, back a couple of times, maybe for like 4 to 5 minutes. It just really is going to depend on what you feel is going to benefit you. So this is the power of our little breathing stick here. And so that takes care of that. So now we're going to go ahead, and now that we've finished our coping skill, I do see we have a couple of questions. And so I think we'll go ahead and tackle on some of that. Armando, you want to come in on some of this?
So we have two questions, and one of them is from Mr. Garcia, and it's how do I help someone in denial of their Alzheimer's? So definitely when someone gets diagnosis with Alzheimer's, it's usually done by a physician. So just like any type of diagnosis, it's gonna take a team effort, and the first individuals that are gonna who give the diagnosis, if they don't provide psychoeducation on what it is, the person is most likely to be like, what do I have? If they don't know about their diagnosis, there might be more of like, how can I explain it? More of like, sometimes we fear the unknown, right? So by providing psychoeducation, usually it could be the physician, or sometimes you could ask for the social worker to give psychoeducation on what is Alzheimer's, and usually they break it down into three parts of the Alzheimer's. You have like the preliminary signs, and then you have the middle, and then you have the severe, right? So they break it down into the pieces. So that usually happens in having that communication with the primary doctor and the whole family. And I hope that answered your question. And are there any signs I should look out for or recognize early onset of Alzheimer's individuals of ages 16, 60 and up? So yes, so just like any, there's gonna be the regular signs of forgetting stuff just like anyone else, right? Sometimes we forget our keys, sometimes we forget, those are the normal signs, right? But once you start seeing big changes in a person, or if they keep asking the repetitive things over and over and over again, that's where you gotta talk to a primary care physician and there's different types of evaluations, and it's only gonna be done by a specialist or a primary, and the primary could refer you to a specialist of Alzheimer's. But definitely, according to the Alzheimer's, there's gonna be red flags, and some of them are like the normal forgetting stuff, right? Just like everyone else. But once you start seeing big red flags, that's where you're like, okay, that's where you gotta go to a primary. And Lisa, I don't know if you have any information on that as well.
Yes, I can share a few things. So the Alzheimer's Association has some really good information, and something that we always share at our events. I wish I had it with me. Is this bookmark, and it has the 10 warning signs to look out for. And just like Armando was saying, there's a big difference between memory loss when it comes to just a normal part of aging, but then memory loss that affects our daily life. And then that's when there's a big red flag when it starts disrupting our somebody's daily life. Let me see. When they maybe forget important events or dates that are personal to them, just like Armando said, asking repeated questions, needing to rely more on family to remember things. Some other ones are even with planning or solving problems, challenges that come with following a plan, with keeping track of their bills, of payments they have to make. Another one is completing familiar tasks, something that they know how to do on a daily basis. When they start having difficulty with that, that's another red flag. Something as simple as remembering a location that they're familiar with, or remembering the rules of a game, a board game, or managing their money and their budget. Another one is also confusion with time or place, losing track of the dates, what season we're in, and just how time passes. The fifth one is trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. So it does affect a lot depth perception. In somebody with Alzheimer's, they have vision problems, difficulty reading, judging distance, or even seeing the color contrast. The sixth one is they have new problems with words in speaking or writing. They might mumble or jumble some words. They even make up words sometimes. And they just have difficulty making themselves understood or following a conversation. The seventh one is misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace their steps. So just like Armando said, maybe misplacing their keys or our phone. I know yesterday I lost my phone and I was going crazy. I couldn't find it anywhere. But then there's a difference when it comes to Alzheimer's. For example, if, I don't know, maybe you forgot your phone or your keys in the fridge. Little key differences like that where you leave it in a place that's maybe very, what's the word? Out of place, that doesn't belong there. The eighth one is decreased or poor judgment, making poor decisions. Something as simple as falling for a scam. I know that's really big nowadays, especially with our elder population. I know that's something that I worry about with my own mom and my mother-in-law.
They're vulnerable.
Yes, not being able to manage their money, paying less attention to their own personal hygiene, to their pets or somebody they might help care for. The ninth one is withdrawal from work or social activities. They start to isolate themselves and from social situations at work, maybe even with things they love, with hobbies. And the last one is, I think it's a big one, changes in mood and personality. They start experiencing confusion, suspicion. They become suspicious of their loved ones, the people around them. They might feel depression, fear, or even anxious. But all these are 10 signs that normally we will look out for.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you.
We have another question here.
It says, in my non-expert opinion, people close to the patient or potential Alzheimer's client can observe chronic decline with reluctance to engage socially. For example, I visited a senior cemetery yesterday looking to invite a military veterans to his support. It is clear that it seems that one particular gentleman might not be a good fit due to unawareness that would be a present to brain healthy individual. Yet the person may benefit from arts and crafts, loteria, and other less challenging tasks. Yeah, definitely. And yes, thank you. So when the person has Alzheimer's and you're changing the routine, sometimes they get kind of like, whoa, what's going on? So it's important that if you have a loved one that is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, you try your best to keep the routine, so they could they have like a understanding what they're gonna be doing for the day. Because once you start breaking the routine, then it's gonna throw them way off. Okay, so that's keeping them busy, right? Loteria, that's something that could that's really beneficial to help them. Having consistency about doing a specific project. So yeah. All right, then.
All right.
You want to talk about the benefits of the breathing technique? When to use it?
All right. So, in regards to back to our little coping skill here, our little breathing stick, it's very beneficial, right, for our health. These are things that you're gonna want to apply it throughout the day. This is something that we can do like early in the morning hours when we're getting ready to, like, let's say even for like little ones and the kids, right? When they have these and they're getting ready to start the day, they can do the little breathing sticks in the morning to kind of help set the tone for the day. Maybe when they're at school and they're, maybe they got a little test or a little exam. The same thing from work, right? When we're going into work, maybe we got some things, maybe there's like a meeting coming up, right? We know, hey, this meeting's gonna come up maybe in the next 15, 20 minutes. I kind of got to get my head in the game, kind of get a little bit of focus, right? Kind of getting us in a state where we can kind of, okay, let's kind of regulate ourselves. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of just allowing yourself to really take the time to implement this throughout the day kind of helps keeps our body at check, right? Because it's like driving a car, right? If we're driving a car, we don't want to push the car too hard, too fast. Because if you do, we're going to end up messing up the motor, right? You don't want to do that. So what we do is you don't want to go too fast, just like when we're driving on the highway. We want to keep a nice, steady pace, because we find that if we're driving at a nice, steady pace, we're going to reach our destination safe and sound. This is no different from that. This right here, when we implement it and use it as the tool that it is, it will have the effects that you're looking for. You practice it in the morning, maybe before you walk into the building for work or school. Maybe you even implement it during your lunch break, right? 5 minutes. How many times do we sit here, maybe we're having our lunch, and a lot of us, let's be honest, we're doing this. We're on the phones, we're looking up TikTok videos and things like that. Well, that is just, 5 minutes to use this to allow us to kind of, hey, we've had a morning, it's already, things have been going on. We use this again, kind of regain our focus, allow our body to kind of, hey, come back, relax a little bit, and then we continue on, right? Because we still got the whole day to go. And then maybe at the same time too, now we're done, we're heading home, right? We pull into the driveway. We're getting ready to go inside. Maybe we have, our partner, our spouse, our children are inside the home. We park the car. Take 5 minutes, right? We take in the vehicle. We practice our little breathing stick again. It's a little guy. Mine's kind of a big one if you see this one here, but it really depends. Really, I seen kids that probably be like, whoa. But then they might do theirs maybe like a little bit more smaller. It fits in the glove compartment. You can put it maybe. I've seen some actually attach it to the side. So it's a wonderful thing that you can use, and it's the more and more you implement it, the better and better you get. It's like riding a bike. When you get on a bike, you didn't know how to ride the bike right away from the get-go. You kind of fall and you kind of have to figure out your rhythm and your routine. But the more and more you practice those skills, eventually you got good at riding your bike. Well, using the breathing sticks the same way. The more and more you use this, the more and more you utilize it, the more and more you implement it, the more and more you're going to see the benefits of it in time as you do so. And you're going to see what works for you. Some people have been like, some variations have been breathe in and then they go back to the beat and breathe out. And then some go breathe in and they go back to another beat and breathe out. Some people might not necessarily have their eyes open. Some individuals just going off the sensation of the beads are doing the exact same thing, but now their eyes are closed. Maybe they want to implement a little bit of music in the background. This is kind of a little thing that you can kind of just play around with and kind of really make it your own. So that's the benefits. There's long-term benefits, but in order for us to get to that point, practice makes perfect. So that's going to be the key, is making sure we're consistently able to do so. But let me okay, so
I have a question about the breathing stick.
yes, ma'am.
So is this beneficial for like the caregiver, the care partner of an individual, or also for an individual with Alzheimer's?
I would say this is beneficial all around for a lot of individuals, and I say this because we actually had an event here in FAR, And I remember hearing about that, Armando.
Was it at the Mind Matters?
Mind Matters. There you go. And thank you, because that's actually a perfect example. We went and we had the Mind Matters here in the city of FAR, and we were actually very fortunate that we ran into a woman that actually had Alzheimer's herself, and she was there with her caretaker. So when we sat there and we did this with both individuals in front of us. They got to pick their pipe cleaner, they got to pick their colors, they sat down, we showed them how to do it, we did it with them, and as they did so, you see in their eyes and in their face, and I was just like, breathe in and then breathe out. So yes, this isn't one person or one population thing. This is a universal thing. This the benefits that really come from using such a tool can benefit in many different individuals.
Thank you.
Little thing.
Let me see more comments.
Let me see. We got some comments here, Armando.
No, that's it. Mandaluna, that's such an important, how do we help someone without denial of their Alzheimer's? That's such an important and tough question. When someone is in denial of Alzheimer's, it's usually because they are scared or overwhelmed, not just being difficult. The best thing you can do is approach them with love and patience, avoid pushing the diagnosis, and instead focus on little things like gently pointing out changes you'll notice and offering help in non-threatening ways. Definitely, yes, being supportive. So that's where it's going to be, being supportive and having patience with your loved one, because sometimes they might be repeating the same question over and over and over again. And sometimes when you're stressed, you're going to be more easily to react in a negative way. So, and the breathing technique also helps you be more calm and more relaxed. So if you take care of yourself, you'll be able to also take care of your loved one. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then who's gonna be able to be there for your loved one? So, yes, and that's why we were talking about the breathing. You know, that's something so simple but yet so powerful. So take care of yourself, caregivers, so you could continue taking care of your loved ones.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, and so with that, we are going to be wrapping up here, but that does not mean there will not be other opportunities. In fact, again, this evening we will be going live again at 5:30. So we do understand work schedules and there's things going on, but guess what? We are making ourselves available to you. We want to this was a wonderful opportunity for us to kind of gather here, talk a little bit, ask these questions. They're wonderful questions that you guys have been asking, and then at the same time too, learn some awesome coping skills and tools, right? Because we can't go and get the job done if we don't have the right tools to do so. And so we learned a lot of things here. And so we appreciate everyone being here. Remember, 5:30 tonight, we're going to be going live again. This will be another opportunity for us to do that as well. And then again, this was a Facebook Live, so everything that you're getting, this was real, including the technical difficulties we had, but isn't that the way things are, right? Well, we wish to thank everyone for this wonderful opportunity. We want to thank everyone for joining us. And since this was live, this should be uploaded to our Facebook later on, right, when we're done. And so what I will say to those who weren't able to partake and be here for the live video, but maybe have watched it and have questions, please do so in the comments below. If there are things you are wanting to know about what we are doing here, skills and things that might help you, anything that what it is, please put it in the comment section below. We do look at these, we do go through these. We try to get to everybody as quickly as possible as we can, and if not, guess what? This is where you have to come back and join us, because if you do, more than likely the questions that have been asked in the comments will be addressed in the following sessions that we will be having. So we do encourage everybody to ask these questions so that when we come and meet again, we can answer those questions and do more things as we continue on. But we want to thank everyone for being here with us. Armando Cardona and Miss Yulisa Peña, everybody here. We're here to support, and so thank you today to everybody, and we look forward to seeing y'all again tonight, 5:30. Y'all have a good one.